Sit on a modern public bench for more than about 10 minutes, and your body starts filing complaints. The seat's too short, the back's at the wrong angle, or there's no back at all. There's a metal bar jammed exactly where you'd want to shift your weight. You stand up sore and a little annoyed, and you chalk it up to the obvious explanation. The city was cheap, or lazy, or just bad at making benches. Here's what should actually make you angry. That bench wasn't the cheap option. Someone chose it, someone drew it, costed it, signed off a budget, and often paid more than a comfortable bench would have cost, specifically so that you couldn't get comfortable on it. The discomfort isn't a failure, it's a feature, and it's a line item, which brings us to the claim in the title of this video, the one you maybe rolled your eyes at, that your city wasted billions on these things. A big round outrage number, the kind of figure people throw out when they want you to click. So let's do the honest thing and actually interrogate it. Did your city really waste billions making it harder for you to sit down? The real answer turns out to be stranger and worse than any clean number, because the moment you start pulling the receipts on hostile benches and everything like them, you find two things at once. The amounts that are documented are genuinely absurd, and nobody, anywhere, is keeping the full tally. Let me show you where the money actually goes. So, the billions. Let's be straight with you, because this channel isn't going to insult you with a fake statistic. There is no official number. No agency adds up what cities spend making their public spaces hostile. The billions you'll see quoted online is almost always an estimate built by guessing. Take what one city spent, assume every other city spent something similar, multiply, and you land somewhere in the billions. It might be right. It might be high. The honest truth is that nobody actually knows. And that, by itself, should bother you. We're spending public money on this at a scale large enough that no one even bothers to keep score, but the receipts that do exist are wild. In 2017, New York spent around $74 million on a subway station overhaul that, among other things, swapped benches out for leaning bars, those little angled rails you can prop against but never actually sit on. $74 million, and part of what the public got for it was less seating. Out in Tacoma, Washington, the city quietly spent roughly $163,000 over about a year and a half, placing more than 1,000 rocks and boulders around town, not for landscaping, but specifically to stop homeless people from pitching a tent or parking a vehicle. 1,000 boulders, paid for with your taxes, doing the job of a fence nobody wanted to admit they were building. And in Portland, reporting suggests something like $500,000 went into anti-homeless benches around a single park. One park. So when someone says billions, they might be exaggerating, but once you see the per-item prices, you start to wonder if they're lowballing it. Now here's the part that turns ordinary government waste into something genuinely strange. In most areas of public spending, the money at least buys you something. A more expensive bench would normally mean a better bench, sturdier, comfier, nicer to sit on. Hostile design flips that completely. Here, the extra money buys you less. Think about what's actually involved. A plain bench is a slab and some legs. To make a hostile one, you don't strip cost out, you add it in. You pay a designer to engineer the discomfort. You pay for the extra armrests, the central dividers, the curved or sloped surfaces that take more skill to manufacture, not less. You pay a crew to come out and retrofit benches that were working perfectly well, bolting bars onto seating thousands of people were happily using. Every one of those steps is a line on an invoice. You are, quite literally, paying a premium to subtract function from your own city. There's even a name for the discipline behind it. Designers call it unpleasant design, the deliberate craft of building objects that frustrate certain uses while looking, at a glance, completely normal. It's a real philosophy with real practitioners, and the entire point is that the hostility stays invisible. You're not meant to notice that someone was paid to make your life slightly worse. You're just meant to feel vaguely uncomfortable and move along. So the waste isn't only the headline figure, it's the nature of the spend. Your city took money that could have bought genuinely good public seating, benches people actually want to sit on, and spent it instead on engineering the opposite. You didn't just pay for nothing, you paid extra for less than nothing. And here's the comparison that should end the argument for good, because the benches were never really about you. Your collateral, the ache you feel, is just the side effect of design aimed at someone else, the person with nowhere else to sleep. Hostile seating is one tool in a much bigger effort to make homelessness invisible by making it impossible to rest in public. So follow that money to its real purpose, and the figures turn damning. Researchers have estimated that criminalizing a single homeless person through the sweeps, the policing, the enforcement, And yes, the hostile architecture costs somewhere north of $31,000 a year. The cost of simply giving that same person supportive housing, around $10,000, roughly a third of the price. Sit with that for a second. Cities are choosing over and over to spend about 3 times as much to keep someone miserable on the street as it would cost to put a roof over their head. The spikes, the boulders, the divided benches, the leaning bars, all of it is the more expensive option. It doesn't even have the cold logic of saving a buck. It costs more, and it solves nothing, because the person it targets doesn't vanish. They just get moved to the next doorway, the next bridge, the next bench that hasn't been ruined yet. So when the title asks whether your city wasted money, the honest answer turns out to be worse than a simple yes. They didn't just waste it, they chose the single most expensive way to make a problem worse, and made your backache as a bonus. So next time you lower yourself onto a bench and feel that bar dig into your side, change the question you ask. Not, why is this so badly made, but who got paid to make it this way, and what did it cost? Because that ache has an invoice attached. Somewhere there's a budget line, a purchase order, a contractor who installed it, and a meeting where someone decided your comfort was an acceptable thing to spend money removing. And that's the quiet insult underneath all of it. You weren't ignored. You were considered, costed, and overruled. The city looked at a bench you could sleep on, decided that was a problem, and spent extra to fix it. Not for you, but in a way that lands on you every single time you try to rest. It doesn't even work. The person it was aimed at is still out there, colder and more exhausted, just somewhere less visible. The money's gone. And the only reliable result of the whole exercise is that public space got a little more hostile for everyone who uses it, which more and more might be the actual point. So that's the real answer to the title. Billions? Maybe. Wasted? Absolutely. In the most deliberate, expensive, self-defeating way a city can manage. If you want to keep learning to read the price tags hidden in a world that was built against you, subscribe. Next time, we'll follow the money somewhere even stranger.